Good morning, my beauties. Happy Saturday. It's a kind of a perfect fall Saturday. So, hope everybody has their warm beverage, maybe coffee, maybe tea, maybe it's spiked. That's what Saturdays are for. Boozy coffee all around. But good morning. I'm Seville, if you haven't practiced with me before, and welcome to your yoga Saturday morning leading into whatever beverage of choice class. There we go. That was a very long way to say yoga and beer. um, so if you've taken any of my Saturday morning classes, you'll know that I like to hold these classes as kind of a reset from the week. Whatever happens to us, with us, around us, we just have this hour to ourselves on our mats that we can kind of hold sacred and have kind of a reset almost, if you will. So again, that's my intention for our class today, is having that reset. And when we leave our mats in about an hour, that we feel really recharged and ready to go forward throughout the rest of the weekend and on to the next week. But as yoga teachers, we typically teach what we need most. And so I know that on a day like today, it would be so delightful to just like curl up with a blanket and start to settle in for the fall. But we're going to flow today. It could be that I just really miss dancing. And so I just want to have like a virtual dance party with all of my yoga friends. But actually, what it really is most of us, we spend our time at a desk or now at table if you're working from home, doing a lot of computer stuff and whatnot. So like the energy in our body gets stuck, in our shoulders and our hips and our arms, things like that. And so what I need, and I hope you guys need too, is to move that energy around. So that is my plan and intention for our class today is to just have a lot of fun. If you've taken a peek at the playlist, we have some Motown, we have some Fleetwood Mac. We're just going to have a lot of fun. We're going to move, we're going to flow. But if you do need chill, then I just recommend that you find your chill. So I will offer options of, hey, you can stay here or you can keep flowing with us. So there's definitely something for everyone. And if you decide, no, I really need a blanket and I really need to just settle in for fall, grab your favorite blanket, you have your warm beverage and chill. But let's get started on our backs. And legs can be out long, they can be bent. I'm going to recommend arms alongside the body, palms facing up if that feels comfortable. And maybe you close your eyes, or if the eyes are open, just let the gaze get nice and hazy. Taking a couple of really deep cleansing breaths to start to settle into this space. And with your next inhale, let's draw the pointer finger and the thumb toward each other, taking the entire inhale for them to touch. And then your entire exhale, the finger and the thumb will come apart. So continue to follow that pattern, inhaling to bring the finger and the thumb together. Exhale, draws them apart. And if you want to, you can move down the line of fingers with each inhale. Or you can just pick your favorite finger and stick with that. And as we're settling in here, maybe you start to tune into the body and you see where maybe some things feel stuck, whether it's physically, you can feel some tension, or energetically, you can feel that something needs to be moved through. And allow your breath and your practice to be focused to those spaces. Just a couple more rounds of breath here. We'll start to reach the hands up toward the sky. Take a moment to roll out the wrists, maybe one way, maybe the other way. Bring the hands into little fists and roll the wrists around again. Again, undoing all of the keyboard and mouse work and whatnot. And we'll release the fists, reaching the fingers up to the sky. And we're going to wake up our brain a little bit. So we're going to reach the right hand toward the back of the mat as the left hand reaches toward the front of the mat. The hands are coming down toward the ground. Inhale the hands back up. And exhale, you're going to switch. So I don't know how much coffee or tea you've had, but this might actually be a brain waker upper. Or if you've had enough coffee and you're like, so this isn't that hard. It's okay. We're just going to breathe as we make our movements a little bigger, as we pair the breath and the body. And one more time on each side, just to make things nice and even. We'll reach both hands up to the sky. And let's hug the knees in toward the chest, holding on to shins, knees, or backs of the thighs. Just give yourself a cute little squeeze here, a little Saturday morning squeeze. Then we'll bring the knees over the hips. Feet are pressing out, almost as if you have a wall or a heavy box that you need to push out of the way. You can hold onto the sides of the legs, or hands can be on the ground, and allow that low back to press down toward the earth, engaging that low belly. So feel free to stay here. Or with your next breath, let's press the feet up toward the sky. And bending the knees again. And we'll start to press that wall or heavy box away. Your choice on how far you're pushing it. It can just be a couple inches, or you can really go for it. And then bring the knees back over the hips. So we're going to flow through that a couple times following your breath. One breath to lift the feet up. One breath to bend the knees. One breath to push away. One breath to bend the knees. And again, make sure the low back is pressing down toward the earth, keeping that engagement of the low belly, especially as you start to press the feet away. The low back tends to get a little sassy. And we'll press the feet up to the sky one more time, holding onto the backs of the legs. Let's roll the ankles around, snap, crackle, and pop the toes. Wake up the feet a little bit. And let's hug the knees in toward the chest again. Hands are coming onto the knees of that works for your body. We'll just start to draw little circles with the knees, rolling out that low back. Or maybe you can imagine you're drawing a cute pumpkin or a little ghost. That's just a shameless plug for the fact that I'm teaching the Halloween class and I want to see costumes on Instagram. Just have to tag me. And let's reverse your pumpkin or ghost or circle to the other side. And we'll bring the knees back in toward the chest, finding that Saturday morning squeeze again. And let's come on up to a comfortable seat. You can rock and roll up and down the spine or all to the side, however it makes sense for you. And if it is okay on the legs, we'll have legs crossed. Inhale, let's reach the hands up to the sky. And exhale, hands to the heart. 2 more times. This time we'll reach the hands up to the sky and let's twist toward the right. Left hand is resting on that right knee. And feel nice and broad across the collarbones. And breathe deeply. And let's turn the gaze over that back shoulder. And then over the front shoulder. And then back over that back shoulder. And let's reach the hands up to the sky. And exhale, twisting toward the left. Right hand is resting on that left knee. And let's turn the gaze over that back shoulder. And over the front. Breathing deeply, creating space in this twist. And we'll reach the hands up to the sky. And we'll bring the hands to the heart and lift the heart up toward the hands. And just a quick whoop, switch of the legs. No boat pose today. We'll do other core things. And from the hands at the heart, let's reach the hands up to the sky. We'll turn the palms away from each other and press the air down. So inhale, let's reach up. Turn the palms out. And press the air down. One more time. And we'll bring the hands onto the knees. With your next inhale, let's send the heart up toward the sky, finding a cow shape. Exhale, we'll round the spine, tucking the chin, finding a cat shape. So we're going to flow through this a couple times. Inhaling opens the heart. Exhaling opens the backside of the body. Feel free to stick with this. If you'd like to get more into the body, you're going to bring the heart forward. Then you'll move the body over to the left and then round the spine. Move the body to the right and heart reaches up. So you're just finding those 4 corners. And you can pause at each of these corners, if that makes sense, or sides, I guess. Or you can start to get fluid with it. And we're just warming up for a dance party, guys. Working on our body rolls, yeah. Don't worry, twerking's coming later. Hi, Mickey. And we're going to reverse it. So body moves to the right, pulls back, over to the left, and presses forward. And again, if you're sticking with that solid cat-cow, I love that. Keep sticking with it. And let's pull the belly in, stack the shoulders over the hips again. We'll reach the hands up to the sky and hands come to the heart. Let's come over to table pose, hands and knees. And inhale, we're going to drop the belly. So we're coming back to that cat-cow shape. just in a little bit of a different body placement. And again, if you really loved those body rolls, feel free to get at it. We won't be here for too long. And if you're rolling the body, flip it and reverse it. We'll come to that strong table back. Belly pulls in, heart reaches forward, crown of the head reaches forward, strong arms, strong legs. Staying here for just a breath. Then let's tuck the toes. And we'll start to reach the hips up and back, finding our downward facing dog. Start to make it a nice wiggly dog. You can wag the tail side to side. You can pedal the legs out. Just start to create a little bit of space and movement in the hips. Just make sure you're actively pressing back toward the heels, getting the weight as much as you can out of the hands and the wrists. A nice long spine. And with your next inhale, let's rise up onto tippy toes. And we're going to bump the heels over to the right. Toes are pointing to the left. And press the heels back down toward the earth. And actively press back toward the hips, back through the hips. And breathe into the sensations. Inhale brings you back onto your tippy toes. And exhale, we're going to bump the heels over to the left. Toes are pointed to the right. And press back through the hips. Say good morning to your IT bands. Inhale, back up to tippy toes. We'll bring the heels together, toes pointed out. In a past life, I used to be a ballerina, so this would be called first position. And congrats, we're all ballerinas now. And again, press back through the hips. Create long lines in the spine. And we'll parallel the feet again. Let's bend the knees, let's look in between the hands, and let's slowly make our way forward. Finding our forward fold. Feel free to put a nice bend in the knees, swaying side to side. Inhale, let's halfway lift, fingers glide up the shins, finding that strong table back again. And exhale, we'll forward fold. Inhale, let's rise up and reach up. And hands come to the heart. Inhale, we'll reach. Exhale, let's fold. Bend the knees so much that the hands plant on the earth. We're going to step our right foot way back, bringing the right knee onto the ground, coming into our low lunge. So feel free to stay here. This feels really great. You can always untuck that back toe if you need. And maybe you start to rock back to that half split and then rock forward. So one breath to move you back, one breath to move you forward. And if you're not reaching the ground and you don't have blocks to help assist you, then you can always bring the hand onto that front knee and find a little bit of cat-cow here, mainly letting the hips pull back a little bit and then letting them sink even more. And if you're like, let's get to it, let's bring the hands up to the sky and then pull back. So a bunch of different options here. And we'll come forward to our low lunge. We'll bring the hands onto the earth. Let's tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, power through that back leg. We'll sneak the hands onto that front thigh. With your next exhale, to round the spine, tuck the chin, finding a cat shape here in our crescent lunge. Inhale, we'll pull the heart forward, finding cow. Flowing through this 2 times. And let's reach the hands up to the sky, stacking the shoulders over the hips. Breath is strong. And let's bring the hands down onto the earth. And we're going to sneak that back leg, the front leg to meet the back leg, finding our cute plank pose. So feel free to stay here, or you can bring knees down, staying here for a couple breaths. And we will bring the knees down, finding our table pose. And from table, let's reach the right foot back. Just kidding. Let's reach the left foot back. Actively pressing out through that heel, opening up the backside of the leg. Then we're going to plant that back foot and start to roll open, finding a modified side plank. But before we start flowing through this, let's pop up onto those bottom fingers and find some space through the collarbones. Really open up our wingspan. And then we'll plant the hand, that bottom hand down. Just make sure you're not dumping into that bottom shoulder, but you're pressing up and out of it. So feel free to stay here, or we're going to draw a cute little arc or a rainbow with our bodies. So we're gonna take your top hand and reach it toward the front of the mat. And you're gonna take your side ribs and puff them up toward the sky. See, we're cute rainbows now. Then let's start to knit those side ribs together as you pull that elbow down toward the side body. So one breath opens the side body, one breath engages the side body. We'll continue to flow through this. And one more time. And as we reach forward, let's continue all the way down onto the earth. We'll square the hips, actively press out through that back leg. And your right knee, your right leg is going to meet the left, finding our plank pose again. Let's bring the knees down. And we'll shine the heart forward and start to lower all the way down, taking our entire exhale to lower down. And we'll shrug the shoulders up, back, and down, finding our little baby cobra. Really no weight in the hands, just the moving forward of the heart. And let's lower down. However it makes sense in your body, let's find our way back to downward facing dog. And from down dog, let's start to make our way forward, finding our forward fold. You can tiptoe your way there. You can hop, float, levitate, all the good things. Inhale, let's halfway lift. Exhale, let's fold. I apologize. I'm having so much hairography right now. I forgot a little hair tie, so you don't really get to see my face. And I'm cousin it. Halloween. There we go. And let's rise up. And hands come to the heart. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Bending the knees, planting the hands. This time we're going to step the left foot way back. And we'll bring that left knee down. Right? Yes, I feel like, and if we've already done this side, just do the other side. Obviously, I haven't had enough coffee. So feel free to stay there. Or you can start to find that subtle flow back and forth between low lunge and half splits. And again, if hands aren't reaching the earth, you can find that cat-cow with the hands on the front knee, or we can reach the hands up to the sky and start to fly the arms back and then up. And we'll reach the hands up to the sky and hands come down onto the earth. We'll tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, actively pressing out through that heel. And we'll sneak the hands up onto that front thigh. And round the spine, tuck the chin. And then send the heart forward with your next breath. Moving through cat-cow. Oops, maybe you lose your balance. And we'll reach the hands up to the sky, finding a breath here in our crescent lunge. And we'll reach the hands forward, actively pressing out through that back heel. And let's sneak our way to plank pose. Again, knees up or down, breath is strong. And we'll bring the knees down, finding our table pose. And we'll send the right foot back, actively pressing out through the heel, opening up the backside of the leg. And let's plant that back foot and find our modified side plank on the other side. Coming up onto those left fingertips to find our wingspan. And then bring the hand down. Make sure you're not dumping into that bottom shoulder though. And let's draw our cute rainbows. So we'll reach the right hand forward, puffing the ribs, there we go, up to the sky. And then we'll engage and draw them in. And as we reach that right hand forward, let's bring it all the way down. Again, actively pressing out through that back heel. And we'll find our plank pose again. Knees up or down, moving through that vinyasa. But know that it's always a choice. So if vinyasa-ing, vinyasa-ing, it's a verb. If that doesn't work for you, you always have the option of child's pose. You always have the option of table, of drinking coffee, all of the good things. But let's make our way back to downward facing dog. And from our down dog, we'll make our way to the top of the mat. Inhaling to find that halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, we'll rise up and reach up. And hands come to the heart. Option to keep the hands at the heart, or let's reach the hands up to the sky as we sink the hips back. Good thing about a nice flowy class, we're not going to hold plank that long. We'll come in and out of it a handful of times, but we're not holding it. So from our plank, chair, there we go. From chair, let's fly the hands back, heart reaches forward. Keep the hips where they are. Let's reach the hands up to the sky. Again, fly the hands forward. This time as we reach the hands up to the sky, we're gonna root through that right foot, bring the left knee up. Next breath brings that left foot down. Let's fly the arms back, heart reaches forward. Arms reach up, left knee comes up. Let's press that left foot forward. Bend into that left knee. Step back to chair. And hands fly back. Hands reach up. Knee comes up. Left foot presses. Left knee bends. And we're going to fly the left foot back, finding a quick moment of warrior three. And we'll bring that knee back up. Press the foot out. Knee comes up. And sit back to chair. Fly the arms back. One more time, flowing through that. Left knee comes up. Left foot comes out. Knee comes up. But this time as we fly back to warrior three, let's bring the toes down and find our crescent pose. Inhale, hands reach up. Let's open up warrior two. Front palm turns up toward the sky and reverse warrior. Press back, warrior two. And over to side angle. So we're going to rest that right arm on that right leg. Apparently, appendages are confusing to me today. But again, make sure you're not dumping into that bottom shoulder. We're gonna reach the left hand up toward the sky. We're gonna find that rainbow again. So we'll reach the left hand toward the front of the mat and start to puff the ribs up toward the sky. Then we'll engage, pull the ribs together, bring that elbow down. 2 more times. We'll reach the hand forward, come back to warrior two. Let's straighten that front leg as the top body goes into reverse warrior. And we'll bend into that front knee, find our warrior two again. Hands come to the heart as we pivot the hips forward, finding our crescent pose. Arms reach forward. Let's take the right hand and sweep it down and back. And that right hand can glide along that back leg as the left hand reaches up to the sky. And press back to that revolved twist. And let's bring the hands back down onto the earth. Step back, downward facing dog. Option to flow through the vinyasa. Option for child's pose, table, for coffee. Cheers. And we'll meet back in downward facing dog. And from down dog, let's make our way forward. Inhaling to find our halfway lift. Exhale forward. We're gonna hang out here for a couple breaths. So feel free to bend the knees deeply, hold on to opposite elbows. Just sway a little bit side to side. Depending on where you're at in the playlist, maybe you're bopping and bumping. And let's release the elbows. And let's rise up and reach up. And hands come to the heart. You know where we're heading, our cute little chair flow. But that is all that I have planned for chair. It's just this flow. So again, hands can be at the heart, or you can reach them up as you sit back into chair. And we'll fly the arms back, heart presses forward. Keep the hips where they are, reach the hands back up. Again, fly the arms back. This time as the arms come up, we're gonna root through that left foot, bring the right knee up. And let's bring that right foot back and fly the arms back. Root into that left foot, right knee up, right foot forward. Bend into that, bend the right knee, sit back to chair, and fly the arms back. Coming back up. Right foot presses forward, bend the right knee, Fly that foot back. Bend into that, bend the right knee, foot comes forward. And let's sit back into chair. Fly the arms back. All right, just one more time. Good thing we're not a creature that has more than 2 legs. And we'll step back, finding our crescent pose. And we'll open up warrior 2. Left leg is forward, right leg is back. And let's reverse. Pressing back, warrior 2. And bringing that left forearm onto that front thigh, pressing up and out of the shoulder. Right hand comes up to the sky. Find your wingspan. And now let's press the ribs up toward the sky. And then let's engage the side body. And next time that right hand reaches forward, let's come all the way back up. Warrior 2. We're gonna straighten that front leg, but top body is reversing. Press back, warrior 2. Hands come to the heart. And we're going to square the hips forward, finding our crescent. Arms reach forward. Left hand is going to sweep down and back. And left hand is going to glide along that back leg. And press back into that reverse twist. And hands back up. And hands come down onto the earth. Making your way back to downward facing dog. Option for the vinyasa. Option for coffee. For all the goods, we are going to find our way into child's pose though. So if you were like, yes, that's where I want to be, then get at it. Taking a few breaths here in child's pose to reconnect with that deep intentional breath you establish at the beginning of your practice. That breath that's moving the energy through the body, getting into those spots of stagnation. And maybe you sway a little side to side in your child's pose, or you rock the head side to side. And from your child's pose, let's rise back up to table. And we'll tuck our toes, reach the hips up and back, finding down dog. If it makes sense in the body, right foot is going to leave the earth. Does not have to be pretty or cute. Let's just step that right foot forward. Maybe you help it along a couple times. Belly pulls in, heart reaches forward. And we're rising up, finding our crescent. We're gonna move right into warrior 2. So we're going to flow a little bit here to warrior 2 on each side. So try to not bounce up and down as we flow through this, and just breathe and have fun. So from warrior 2, we're gonna reach the arms up, sit into goddess just for a moment as you open up warrior 2 on the other side. So find your breath, find your flow. Arms are optional. You can always keep arms at the heart. Just let the legs do the work. And see if you can, again, try not to bob up and down too much. There's obviously going to be some bobbing if your mat is a sticky one like mine. And one more time, warrior two to the back of the mat. We'll come back to the center, finding our goddess pose. We'll start to straighten the legs, parallel the feet, hands come to the heart reaches up, and as dramatic as you want it to be, let's come into our forward fold. So option to hang out here in your wide-legged forward fold. You can sway a little side to side. You can walk one hand over to one foot, one hand to the other. Or if you'd like to keep moving, go ahead and turn the toes out slightly. We're gonna walk the hands over to the left foot, and maybe you start to crouch down a little bit. And come back to the center, and hands over to the right foot. And you don't necessarily have to bring the hips all the way down, you could keep the hips up and you're slightly bending into both the alternating knees, or you can start to come all the way down. Finishing this up so you're nice and even on both sides. And then we'll meet in that wide-legged forward fold again. And let's walk the hands toward the front of the mat, pivot the feet, come up onto the back toes. We'll step back to down dog. One last chance to move through the vinyasa. And we'll meet back in down dog. If it makes sense in the body, left foot comes up and back. Again, it does not have to be graceful. Let's step that left foot forward, rising on up to your crescent pose. Hands come to the heart. We're not going to do that warrior two thing on the other side. And let's just step it forward. So reach the arms up to the sky. And we're gonna drop the left hand down and kind of I'm a little teapot, right up and over with the right hand. Both hands back up and right hand down. And we're gonna tip us over, pour us out. And coming back to the center and hands come to the heart. Let's forward fold. Let's inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We're gonna make our way back to down dog. I mean, if you really wanted another vinyasa, you could. That was just the last one I had planned. And from down dog, let's bring the knees back down onto the earth, finding our strong table pose. Feel free to stay here. Or we're going to send that left foot toward the back of the room again, actively pressing out through the heel. Breath is strong. Again, feel free to stay here. Or we're going to revisit that modified side plank. If you really loved drawing your cute little rainbow, you can definitely do that again and just work on that engagement of the side body. Or you can start to float that left leg off of the earth. Or if you're like, let's do this, feel free to go to a full side plank. If you want to find a nice long line of energy, keeping the side body engaged, let's take the left hand and turn the palm toward the front of the mat. And then we'll bring that left hand, the left arm alongside the head. And find that nice long line of energy. And we'll bring the hand back up, Bring the foot down. Let's square the hips. Like keep that left foot reaching back. We're gonna bring the left toes off of the earth. Exhale, let's round the spine, bring the knee in toward the nose. Maybe you kiss it. We'll send the foot back. Exhale, rounds the spine, knee to nose. Let's send it back. One more time. And let's bring left knee to meet right. And let's move through cat-cow a couple times. Resetting the spine. If you really love those body rolls, like I said a couple times, get at it. And let's start to find that strong table back again. Belly pulls in, crown of the head reaches forward. And let's send the right foot back, toes on the ground, pressing out through the heel. Feel free to stay here, or let's start to open our way up to our modified side plank. Again, checking in with that bottom shoulder, keeping everything nice and broad and open in the wingspan. You have the option of drawing your rainbows or keeping the side body engaged. You can start to float the right foot off of the earth. And again, you have the option for a full side plank too. And then maybe you take the right hand, turn the palm forward to the front of the mat, and then find that nice long line of energy, almost as if somebody is taking your fingers and pulling them. Someone's taking your foot and pulling it. You're just finding all sorts of length and opening and space, as well as engagement. Let's bring the hand back up. And we'll bring the hand down, square the hips. Right foot still reaches back. Toes leave the earth. Exhale to round the spine. Inhale, let's send it out. 2 more times. And right knee meets left. And one more time, let's sink it back to child's pose. Again, feel free to sway a little bit side to side. To roll the forehead side to side. Think of it as like a cute little massage for the front of your brain. With our next inhale, let's rise up, finding our table again. We're all done with side planks and crunches and things like that. We're just going to come right on over onto our bums. We're going to start to lower down. If you want more core, like feel free to just bust it out, lift and lower as many times as you want. If you feel like all of the energy is moving and sweating, all that, just come on down. We're going to keep the knees bent though. And let's start to bring the heels a little closer into the hips than you might normally do. Now if you start to actively press down through the soles of the feet, you're going to start to tilt your pelvis. And maybe you start to lift the hips off of the earth, finding a nice bridge pose. But we're going to make this nice and fluid and flowy. So feel free to stay here if you want to hold and breathe. Or with your next breath, let's slowly, but with intention, start to lower down inch by inch. And next breath, root through the soles of the feet. Engage the legs and hips, and maybe spine leaves the earth. And next breath to lower. If you want to get the arms and shoulders involved as you rise up, you'll reach the hands up to the sky and maybe toward the back of the space. Maybe you hit your plants. And then lower, bringing the hands alongside the body. So 2 more times, if you're, however you're moving through this, or if you're holding it, about 4 more breaths. And as we lower down, just take a moment of pause to press the low back down toward the earth and to find a moment of stillness. Keeping the left foot planted on the earth, let's hug the right knee in, and we're going to hold on to the back side of the leg. If that's not accessible for you, you can always hold on to the sides of the pants, or if you have a sweater or a blanket nearby, you can fashion a cute little strap to hold everything. And let's start to press the right foot up toward the sky. So you're going to actively press the leg into the hands, then gently press the hands back into the leg. And I know for me, when I do this, my right hip likes to start to sneak up, kind of bunching up my side body. And if you find that's happening in your body too, maybe you just gently guide your right hip down in space a little bit, lengthening out the side body. I know when I do that, I'm like, oh, hello, hamstring and hips. And let's give our right foot some love. Roll the ankle around. Spread the toes wide. Scrunch them in. And we'll turn the right toes out toward the right, rotating from deep up in the hip. We'll cross the right ankle over the left thigh, finding our figure 4 shape here. And typically, to move a little deeper into the pose, you hug the legs in, but I'm going to invite you to just keep that left foot on the earth if that works for you. And we'll just sway. That sway can be as big or as little as you'd like it to. You can come all the way to the outer edge of that left hip. But we're going from big movements with our whole body to these smaller movements to still keep that energy flowing, but it's kind of a gentle decrease of the movement. Then we'll find a moment of stillness here. And at this point, if you're really jonesing to bring the legs in toward the body, I invite you to do that. And if you did that, let's bring the left foot down. Let's press that right foot back up to the sky, and right foot meets left. And let's press that left foot up toward the sky, holding on, well, let's hug the left knee in first, holding on to the back side of the leg. Then let's start to press the foot up toward the sky, actively pressing the leg into the hands and the hands back into the leg. And give that left foot some love. And again, check in with that left side body. Make sure it's not scrunching up, but see if you can lengthen it. And let's turn those left toes out to the left, rotating from deep up in the hip. We'll cross the ankle over. We'll find that figure four with that gentle sway side to side. And arms, you can really do whatever you want with them. If you feel like your arms still need movement, you can interpretive dance with your arms. You can bring the arms out to a T, cactus shape, anything that feels great for you. And we'll come back to the center, finding that moment of stillness. And if you'd like, you can hug the legs in toward the chest. And we'll bring the right foot down onto the earth. Left foot meets right foot. Let's bring the knees in toward the chest. One more time, finding that Saturday morning squeeze. Just imagine that I'm there squeezing you all, giving you a great big hug. And as you feel ready, limb by limb, and start to lower down onto the earth. Not cheating yourself out of these moments of stillness and quiet, but allowing yourself to really savor this. And noticing those spaces in your body and your energy that may have been carrying tension or energy that needed to be moved. Noticing that they might feel a little less tense, a little more free, a little more open. Maybe the breath is moving more fluidly. And allow yourself to get lost in this moment. As the breath and the body and the practice all begin to settle. Let's begin to deepen the breath, inviting movement back into the hands and the feet. And taking your time, begin to come on up to a comfortable seat, no rush. Thank you for sharing your practice, energy, and spirit with me this morning. The light within me honors the light within each and every one of you. Namaste. And cheers. Well, it's pumpkin beer time, so but thank you guys so much for joining me this morning, for having a dance party and for flowing it out with me. I greatly appreciate it. Keep an eye on our schedule. We are going to start offering more regular online classes as everything is becoming very fall-y, but we are going to have some in-person offerings, so just keep an eye out on that. Information about donation for this class is in the class description. Anything and everything is greatly appreciated, and you guys are so great. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.